Welcome back to Missouri Valley Media Day here on the field of 68, and we're thrilled to be joined by Northern Iowa head coach Ben Jacobson. And Ben, I'm just going to jump right into it, man. Look, to me, your roster is pretty indicative of kind of what the portal era is right now, right? Lost 2 scores to high majors. You lost 7 guys to transfer. But I would argue that you guys are in about as good of a position when it comes to a continuity perspective as anybody. You bring back 3 starters, you bring back 5 rotation guys. Is this just kind of what the new normal is in college basketball at this level?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and talking to people when I run into them and talk about, the first thing they go to is the transfer stuff that happened in the spring. Hey, coach, what's going on? Hey, everything okay? The program good? So then you go through the guys, and then that makes more sense. When you get through all the guys, and then you get to the piece of what you just said. Like that's where we are right now. Right? You're going to have some guys leave in the spring. And then you're going to go in the portal and you're going to get some new guys to fill in those spots that either guys have left or some spots that you need. So a year ago, we knew we needed a big center. So we were able to go and get Jacob Hudson, right? He was the one guy we took, but that was what we needed. This past year, we ended up taking 4 guys in the portal because that's what we needed. We had some guys that left, that you mentioned. So when I say to them, look, we've got 9 players back. We've got 3 starters back. And they kind of like, oh, well, that's all right. I said, no. Today, that's really good. When you've got 9 or 10 guys back and you've got 3 of your starters back, that's just where we're at right now.
Yeah, and it's hard. I mean, you lost your 2 best players, arguably, and they got a lot of money. Like it's hard to fight that, isn't it? Right now, like again, loyalty means something, but ultimately, for a lot of these kids, it's either an opportunity to get paid or to play at the highest level. And sometimes I know this has got to be hard for you because you've been doing this so long and you are old school and I am too. And you're fighting with yourself to some degree on kind of where college basketball has gone, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. And when it came in 2.5, 3 years ago, guys, that was what you just described, Jeff, was exactly it. I'm like, all right, we are not doing this. We're not going to go in the portal. It's not happening. We are going to continue to do things the way we have always done them, and we're going to recruit high school players, and they're all going to stay. There's no chance they're going to leave, right? Everyone's going to stay, and we're just going to keep recruiting high school players. We're going to stay out of this thing.
They love me, right? They love me. Why would they want to leave?
Yeah. Why would they go? So that lasted a year, right? And we did the first spring, guys. We had 0. There were 5 teams in the country that had nobody go in the portal after that first full year. We were one of the 5 schools. So that piece of our program is still in place. It's just that, what we've touched on already, like making the decision, getting comfortable. And for me as a head coach, having the understanding that, when we get to the spring, there's a really good chance that we're going to have 2 or 3 guys go in the portal, whether we like it or not, just because that's the way things are now. And the opportunities that you mentioned, Jeff, those are there. Sometimes you've got guys that are good players that maybe didn't play as much as they were hoping to when they were into their 2nd and 3rd year. And so they feel like maybe there's an opportunity for them to go somewhere else and play more. There's some good reasons why guys go in the transfer portal. But I think the most important thing, at least for me as a head coach, was, a year and a half ago, just saying, hey, look, this is where we're at. We're going to accept it, and we're going to make the most of it. We're still going to recruit our high school players. We've got 3 young guys that came in together that are going into their 2nd year. We've got 3 young guys that are in their 1st year as freshmen, and we're going to sign 3 high school seniors in November. Okay, so we're still doing it a lot the same way. Now we've just added, okay, when we get to the spring, we're going to go and do what we need to do in the transfer portal. But we've still got a really good base with our high school recruiting.
You kind of touched on 2 guys that I wanted to ask you about there. The first was Jacob Hudson. Last 7 games of the season, averaged 13 points. It seems like he really kind of found his footing. And his former Loyola Chicago teammate, Ben Schweiger, is a guy who, didn't necessarily have the greatest 3rd season that I'm assuming he wanted at Loyola after being an all A10 freshman player when he was at Loyola. So you got those 2 guys from Loyola that looked like they're going to kind of make up part of your front line. What have you seen out of them this summer?
Yeah, Huddy, and we recruited him out of high school. So, he made the decision to go to Loyola. Porter was probably doing NIL before NIL was legal. That's probably why Porter got him and we didn't. There's probably some of that going on. We were really lucky to get him, okay? But we knew him. We knew his family. There's a lot of things that Porter does still and was doing at Loyola, of course, that, and we're talking X's and O's, sure, but even outside of that, right? So you're getting a guy who's been a part of in all of the right stuff. So really fortunate to get Huddy, and he did. He was great the last kind of month and a half. He was terrific, and he took off in the spring, and he took that into the summer. He's playing better than he was playing at that time. He set himself up to have a great senior year, and then Ben. There's the one similarity with Ben and with Huddy. Huddy didn't play a lot either. Right, the year before he got here, and so Ben's coming out of a year where he didn't play a bunch. But man, we back and watched his film from that year that you mentioned when he was on the A10 All Rookie team. Watching him play that year, and one of the games in particular was a game at Richmond, and playing against the 6'5" wing. We'd played against him a bunch. I'm forgetting his name right now. He transferred up to UConn, but he's playing against him when Ben's a freshman, and the big wing is into his third or fourth year. And he kind of went toe-to-toe with them, and it's a guy that we had played against a lot. So, as a staff, we talked about it, like, look, I know he didn't play a bunch here this past year, but we're seeing the kind of things that we think are going to fit us. So we're excited about Ben. And I think Huddy, our front court with Huddy and with Titan Anderson, guys, that front court's really, really good. I feel as a head coach when we go into a game, I feel like we're going to have as good a front court as there is, and that's something that both those guys made the decision to come back, right? When they certainly would have had an opportunity if they wanted to go and get paid or go and do what you said. You have to go get paid or go to the highest level, and those two guys decided to come back. So, our front court's really good.
I love the addition of Leon Bond from Virginia. You talk about a guy who's well coached. Leon Bond is going to be well coached coming out of that Virginia program with Tony. What are your expectations for him? Because there is a chance. I mean, certainly there's some playing time there. There's some competition at that spot. But I got to figure Leon Bond's going to be a key component of your team this year.
Yeah, I tell you guys, it's been a lot of fun. Leon and I getting to know each other, and one of the things that I pushed with him when he first got here was taking more 3-point shots. Right? You guys have watched this enough. We're going to shoot a lot of 3-point shots, and it's always been a big part of what we're doing. And he didn't play a bunch this past year. Had a role on that team, but didn't play a bunch. Did not shoot very many 3-point shots. So I really pushed that with him. Working to build his confidence. Letting him know that, hey, we want you to take threes when you're open. Let's really work hard on it outside of practice. So we're taking some maybe when even when you're covered a little bit. We want that to be a big part of what you're doing. And the more we went through the summer, and he and I sat down a couple different times, and he's that will be a part of what he does. But he's got a ton of versatility. And I was really pushing that 3-point shot, right? Because I wanted him to feel the confidence from me, and I wanted him to take those shots in practice to feel what that is like. That's going to be a part of what he does, guys. But he's got a ton of versatility. He handles the ball. He's a good passer. He's a willing passer. He's not out there just trying to find his own shot. And then defensively, he can guard a bunch of positions. So you got a versatile defender. He's gonna, if he gets downhill, if he gets down, around the basket, he's gonna finish. He brings so much to the table. And one of the things that he and I have talked about a lot is he's got a big personality, and just wanting to see that every day at practice and as we get ready to play games, because he's got the type of personality, contagious in the way of he can help other guys play better by the way in which he's talking to them, right? He can pump confidence into guys. He's just, like I said, he brings a lot to the table.
Ben, you've been at Northern Iowa since 2001. You were an assistant for 5 years. You've been the head coach for, I believe this is year 19 for you now. You probably know the Valley and mid-major basketball as well as anybody in the country. 12 of the 13 All-League guys from the Valley this year that had eligibility remaining transferred out of the conference this year. And I think that success at your level allows guys to get an opportunity at the higher level. But I'm curious, like, how long is this kind of process sustainable for teams that are at the mid-major level? And how do you adapt to the way that the current system is kind of set up?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we had a fundraiser yesterday, and we're talking about the exact same thing with the 15 all conference guys, where they went, and the big number is the one you just mentioned, and the piece of that now that we've got a couple years under our belt is the guys in this league, they see the success that the guys they were playing against are having when they go up, right? So right, they see that. So now not only are they like, man, it'd be great if I had a shot to go do that. They've just watched guys that they've competed against go and do it and have a ton of success doing it. So if anything, there's more for those guys now than there's ever been to say, hey, I want to go do that, knowing that they can have success at that level. And that obviously isn't the answer that maybe I should be giving as our head coach or the head coach in our league or for teams that are at our level, because that, certainly in a way is gives them another reason to want to bounce or to want to go in the transfer portal and try to move up. I just think there's and I'll just use us for an example. The two guys we've talked about already, Ben and Leon. Right? We also Division II guard Max Weisbrod out of northern Michigan, and a small college guard out of Coe College here in the state, Cale Schmidt. So both those guys are moving up to where we're at, right? And both those guys have been great, man. They are tough and hard-nosed, and Cale's a scorer. Max can really shoot it. And so you get those two, you put them with Ben and Leon, and then you put them with the 9 guys back and the 3 starters back. So
good mix.
Yeah. Going back more to your question, like it's where we're at now, right? And we've touched on that, but it's going to continue to happen. Guys in our league are going to go out of our league in the spring, right? And there's going to be some good opportunities for them. And then there's going to be guys that come into our league that are either from a spot where they're looking for some more playing time, or they're moving up a level, right? We're seeing it with Division II guys, with small college guys. Those guys are having success. So, there's, and maybe we don't want to go down this road, guys. There's things about it that are really good, right? And really positive, for young people in terms of getting paid and making some money, and in terms of having the opportunity to, if you feel like it's best for you to move around, then that opportunity can be there. There's a couple things about it that guys are missing on having the same teammates for 4 and 5 years, right? I mean, and guys might say, oh, this or that, but look, we've all heard the stories already, right? A guy's at a place for 4 years, he leaves for 1, and then he's wanting to go back to the reunions at the place he was at for 4, right? And maybe that'll work out. Okay, maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. But big picture, guys, I'm telling you, that's a very different college or team experience. Okay? I'm going back, not this Friday, but next Friday. One of my teammates is going in the Hall of Fame at the University of North Dakota. There's 20 guys going back. I know it was 100 years ago, right? I know a long time ago, but there's 20 guys going back. Like that's one of the things that not going to happen as much anymore because of guys moving around. Doesn't mean guys shouldn't move around, but that's one of the positives of being part of a team that they miss out on it. And then you just hope the money thing doesn't impact guys in a negative way when they're done playing. You're getting paid while you're going through college, and that's great. I'm all for it. But at some point, whether you're playing basketball for a long time or you don't, if you don't make it professionally, and then you're getting out into the workforce, like that's different than getting that NIL check and playing basketball and having the academic advisor and the trainer and the coaches and everybody else, and we're all working together to help you get to the best spot you can get and get you ready. There's going to come a time, right? For it was the same way for the 3 of us, right? It's going to be that way for all the student athletes right now getting on NIL, and I worry about that. That they're going to hit a point where they've got to get a job, and they may not be making as much money in that job in the first couple of years that they were making with NIL. So a lot of positives to it, and I've accepted it, and that's where we're at. But I worry about those 2 things.
They can always just be a TikTok sensation. That's all, Ben. They can go that route if they're not making as much money. Well said. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. I got a
Yeah.
little not dirt on you, but I got some stuff here that I want to hit you with. And one is you are an avid card collector, baseball, football, basketball. I'm told a little bit of everything, which I did not know
Yeah.
about you. I actually found when I was cleaning out my house, when I sold my house a few weeks ago, I found a Michael Jordan rookie card.
Oh,
One
wow.
of those Fleer sticker cards. So I got to get that thing. You got to send it in, get it graded. Like times have changed with cards these days from when I had them when I was younger. Give me your most prized possession of any sort of card, whatever it is.
Yeah, my favorite. I've got a George Brett rookie card. Okay, 1975 tops. It is. I've got one graded, and I think it came back as either a 5 or a 6. Right, so so I'm always, and I've got one that's ungraded. Right, and so I'm looking. Every couple of weeks I go on eBay and I look to see what that thing's doing, and am I ready to buy a 7 or buy an 8 that PSA grade. Once you get to that 7, 8, in that range, it's a little more. You get to that 9 and it jumps up, and obviously the perfect, the Gem Mint 10, man, that's a
hard to
so we'll see where I go with my George Brett one, but I've got 2 of those, one graded, one ungraded. I've got a Tim Duncan rookie from 1997, 98, and it's a Fleer offshoot. So the brand is Fleer Showcase. And they did 4. They've got a row 3, a row 2, a row 1, and a row 0. So each player has got a card in each of those rows. Okay, so Duncan's got 4 different cards in this same. And then they made a legacy collection out of it. Okay, so numbered to 100. And I've got one of Tim Duncan's. It's his rookie year, and it's numbered out of 100. And so there's only 100 of them in the world. It's his rookie year. I haven't sent it in to get graded yet, and I don't know that I will. So those 2, and then I got Buster Posey. I'm a big San Francisco Giants fan, huge San Francisco Giants fan, and so I bought a bunch of Buster Posies. Got a couple really good rookies, a couple numbered cards. We've sent in a few of those, a couple of Gem Mint 10s.
All right, I got a couple more quick ones for you. One, I hear you've been working out a ton this summer. Ton. What have you been doing? Benching, running, a little bit of everything. I heard you're in the best shape maybe since you played back in the days.
You got spies in town. I thought you were maybe just talking to Farouk Manesh or some of these goofballs that I used to coach. You got spies in town. Yeah. No lifting weights, man. We are not lifting weights, guys. No, that's off the table. No. We're on the elliptical a little bit, and we're out there running a little bit.
All right, last one. You are now an empty nester. Your youngest son just went to Nebraska. I'm an empty nester as well. I only have one, so she's been gone for a couple of years. She still calls me 10 times a day, which is great. Might be, I might want to cut it down to like 7 times a day sometimes. What's the best part and the worst part of being an empty nester?
The best part. The best part, I would say, is knowing that. We got the best of both worlds here. Okay, so the first thing that hit me, the best part. So Tanner's our youngest son. He's the one that is at Nebraska. We just dropped him over there about a month ago. Is knowing that he's loving it over there. Like he went over there for their business school. Classes are going good. He just started working rec center. Found some buddies for their salt group and their church group. He's been to all of home football games. He's been to a volleyball game. He won't let me come and take him out to dinner. He's like, Dad, I'm good. Like I got my buddies. We got Colorado coming in the next day. It was his birthday, and he wouldn't let me come over and take him out for dinner. Right then, they're doing well, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's probably the best part, is just knowing he's doing great. And then his older brother Hunter walked on with our team, and he's starting his 3rd year with our team. So we're empty nesters, but Hunter's in town. I get to see him every day. So my wife and I got the best of both worlds.
That's awesome.
Well, listen, Ben, we appreciate you being here, man. It's been great to catch up. I appreciate your insight on the state of college athletics. The honesty was kind of refreshing, to be honest. We'll have more from Missouri Valley Media Day coming up here in just a moment.